I, George Washington, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Long live George Washington, President of the United States.
Our cruel and unrelenting enemy leaves us no choice but a brave resistance. We have therefore to resolve to conquer or die.
It's an amazing coincidence that at the same time as the British are coming in to the New York harbor, the Declaration of Independence is passed by Congress.
It takes just 3 weeks for a historic committee of founding fathers, including Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin, to draft the document, which they hope will unite all colonists behind a common cause.
Declaring independence was a process, not an act.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
That all men are created equal.
They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends,
it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
sir, your orders.
Have declared their independence. But if the Americans want their freedom, they'll have to bleed for it.
Washington had been on a losing streak. He had had the absolutely terrible year in New York. He had redeemed himself a little bit with the Battle of Trenton, but then had lost Philadelphia.
There really begins to be kind of a whisper campaign about, should Washington be in command of the army?
There's rumblings in Congress and other places, even in the Army, who should really be the commander-in-chief. And there's a lot of those folks who are talking about Gates being the logical successor to George Washington.
Horatio Gates is a veteran soldier and one of the original contenders for Washington's job.
Is it true?
It would appear that Mr. Franklin has finally done it.
King Louis, I've seen reason.
Yes, and alliance.
For years, the colonists have sought an ally with the power to rival Britain. In the spring of 1778, they secure one, when Benjamin Franklin brokers a treaty between America and England's greatest rival, France.
This is the moment where it all comes together for Washington.
Fire! Fire!
On October 19th, after a 3-week-long siege, the two sides meet on the battlefield for a formal surrender ceremony. But with Congress still failing to pay them more than a year after the battle at Yorktown, Washington's troops are growing restless and angry.
They've been given promises for years. Some of them have been there 7, 8 years long. And so what happens is you start getting a conspiracy in the ranks of the officer corps who are saying, well, we're not going to lay down our arms when the peace treaty arrives unless we're paid by Congress. And if need be, we're going to march on Congress and force them to pay us.
What they're plotting is more than a mutiny. It's a military takeover of the government, and they want Washington to lead it.
There's a group in the Army that wants to march on Philadelphia and crown Washington emperor.
6 months after Washington puts talk of a coup to rest, and nearly 2 years after the final battle at Yorktown, the Treaty of Paris is finally signed. The war is over.
How melancholy is the reflection that in so short a space we should have made such large strides towards fulfilling the prediction of our transatlantic foe. Leave them to themselves and their government will soon dissolve. Will not the wise and good strive hard to avert this evil?
In the spring of 1787, the Founding Fathers call on delegates from the 13 states to convene in Philadelphia. Their mission? Build a more effective union. In its nearly 4 months in session, the Constitutional Convention reinvents the American government, writing a new constitution that paves the way for Washington to be elected its first chief executive.
What makes us a nation? 2 things, the Constitution and George Washington. If Washington wasn't Washington, I'm almost certain that the Republic would have fallen apart in the 1790s in its early years, as almost all republics do.
Washington's whole point was that they had a special responsibility to validate the idea of self-government, that it was our responsibility collectively. It's one of the reasons Washington adopted the mantle of presidency against his personal wishes. It's why he stayed on for a second term when he really wanted to go back to the farm.
After nearly 8 years in office, and with the country's partisan divide deepening, George Washington declines to stand for a 3rd term.
Friends and fellow citizens, the unity of government which constitutes you one people is also a main pillar of your real independence.
Washington's farewell address is a political last will and testament. This is the sum total of his hard-won wisdom, explicitly written for you.
Let me warn you against the baneful effects of the spirit of party.
And if you keep these principles in mind, you'll be fine. If you don't, there could be real trouble ahead.
It opens the door to foreign influence and corruption.
He laid out the warnings about how we have to protect the system we have created.
Cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people.